Good morning, dear students. I, Vidya Sagar, your SS teacher, welcome you all in the e-learning class of Modern International Kulishwa. I am going to start subject history of standard 7, and this is second video lecture on the topic rulers and buildings, chapter 5. Dear students, basically yesterday we have discussed that how the temples were built and how the different architect, it means how the best architect was designed at that time without the less technology were available. Now the two technological and stylistic development were developed during the 12th centuries. It means the whenever it gets started, it means 7 to the 13th centuries when it was started. Then at that time, then further what we will see that these all things, it means the development of room and all, the development of arc, the development of buildings, all the architecture design that have been taken in a regular mode, and that it was happening, that it was creating later. And those kings and emperors at the time, they also used to promote it, like the weight of the superstructure, it means the arc like a structure where the weight it was in the, or it was based on the arc. Okay, and both side the beam was placed. Okay, so these type of structure, if you will see, you will see the older monuments, then you will find out that these type of, basically they used to think out that this type of structure is successfully, and that's why they make out the buildings of these structure, of the same structure everywhere, like the door and windows was carried by the arcs, and these architecturals was known as arcuate. Okay, so edge, arc, it means the half circle, arc, it means this half circle like a structure where it was made out, and their sided weight it was placed on the beams. Now the limestone at the earlier times, the which was, nowadays we are using the cements, at the time the limestone cement was increasingly used in the construction, and it was of the high quality cement. Okay, and when it mixed with the stone chips, likewise today same similar, today we used to mix the cement with the stone chips and sand, and we put it for the bricks and make out the buildings. Okay, like the same way it was also done there, and this used to make the concrete hard, and this made construction of large structure easier and faster. As we know that if we will put the cement and stone chips, then the construction it will be become more faster. Now the building temple mosques. Now the temple and mosque were beautifully constructed because these places were for the worshipping, as they were also meant to demonstrate wealth and power devotion of the patrons. It means those kings and the emperors, they used to demonstrate their power, that we have too much powers, because the temples it was built during their reign. Then those visitors, when they used to come, they used to find out that these type of buildings are found during those kings, and they also used to like the, take the example of Rajeswara temple, like we have discussed yesterday, which is located in Thanjavur, and it having the tallest shikhar, and the incline path which was about 4 kilometers, we have discussed yesterday. Now the an inscription, okay, inscription, you know, the inscription, it means the marked letter which is being inscribed on a stone. Okay, that is inscription. So it was inscripted that it was built by Raj Deva. Okay, and for worship of his god Raj Rajeswaram, it means the king and the god name, it was basically similar. The king, they just proclaimed themselves that we are just near to the god. Okay, and the near to the god, you can say, or they just told themselves that we are god. Okay, and their idols, They also used to keep it in the Garbhagriha so that the peoples can worship them. This type of situation, this type of, it means king, at that time they were considered themselves that they are as god, as equal to the god. Okay, and the kings, they took the god name because it was auspicious and he wanted to appear like a god. It means the similar, the temple's name, as the king built it, fine, so the temple name was also there, but the god name was also related to the temple name, as well as temple name was related with the kings. So this type of thing, it was proclaimed by the king itself. Okay, now the ritual of verses of temple in one god, Raj Deva, honored other Raj Rajeswaram. It means both, they were just honoring themselves and getting the honor in return of it. Okay, as well as the large temples were also constructed where the other where the less deities were in temple of wherein god which was in temple, as well as the temple was the miniature model of the world ruled by king and his allies. It means during the temples, they used to demonstrate the power, as well as they used to also show like the miniature model that this type of model and is here, and it was showing the demonstration, the power, the prosperity of that king. And as their deities together also together seemed in the royal temples. Now they brought the rule of the god on earth. See, it means the kings, they proclaimed themselves that we are god, and the rule of god is already existing on earth in the form of the king itself. You can think that they were how the kings, they used to demonstrate themselves, like the Muslims, sultans and Sparta, they did not so that to be we are incarnation of god. It means वो अपने आप को, जो मुस्लिम सुल्तान थे, बादशाह थे, वो अपने आप को ऐसा नहीं कहते थे, बट दे वो भी कुछ ना कुछ कहते थे. दे टेल्ड देमसेल्फ दैट वी आर शैडो ऑफ गॉड, हम लोग भगवान की परछाई हैं. They were telling the Hindus kings, they were telling that we are god, और ये कहते थे कि हम लोग भगवान की परछाई. मतलब थोड़ा बहुत वो आपस में सिमिलर ही थे. ओके, सो एंड इंस्क्रिप्शंस, एक जो पत्थर पे लिखावट है, कुवतिल इस्लाम मॉस्क, इट वाज एक्सप्लेन्ड, ये बताया जाता है दैट अलाउद्दीन एज किंग बिकॉज ही हैड द क्वालिटी ऑफ मोसेस एंड सोलोमन्स. अलाउद्दीन was considered as king क्योंकि उसके पास मोसेस और सोलोमन, जो कि क्या थे, दो लॉ गिवर थे, उन्होंने कानून दिए थे. ओके, पिछले समय में वो मोसेस और सोलोमन वो कानून दिए थे और वो मानते थे, अलाउद्दीन मानते थे कि हम उसी की तरह हैं, वी आर इक्विवेलेंट टू देम. नाउ द ग्रेटेस्ट लॉ गिवर एंड आर्किटेक्ट वाज गॉड हिमसेल्फ. He created the world of chaos and introduced order and symmetry. उन्होंने ही जो है वो चीज़ों को क्या किया कि अलग अलग नियम और कानून दिए. देयर फर्दर दे मैनेज टू सेटल डाउन द थिंग्स. एज द dynasties came into the power, kings wanted to emphasize moral rights to be the rulers. Okay, now the constructing place of worship providing them chance to proclaim relationship with God. यानी कि अगर वो इनका ऐसा मानना था कि मंदिर मस्जिद बनाकर जो है वो क्या कह सकते हैं, अपने को स्वयं भगवान बना सकते हैं, यानी कि भगवान खुद को बनाने की इच्छा इनके पास थी शायद. तो इस तरह की जो चीज़ें थी वो उनके मन में ऐसा आता था, राइट. एंड especially the important in age of rapid political changes, they rulers also offered patronage to learn the pious and tried to transform their capital cities into great cultural center and fames. It means the temples, basically the temples, it was considered that it could be the center, and wherever the temples was built, the peoples, they used to gather there, and further that place, it was used to be expand, and that place become important central place That's why the temples at the earlier times, the temple was one of the major place from where they could rule over there. As the kings, they also used to be think that heaven would not hold with the rains. They think that if the rain it would be upholded, then what will happen? So they at the time they used to making the precious water available by constructing tanking and reservoir, which was highly praised. It means they think that if the rain, the god, the rain of the god of the rain, if they will uphold the water, then what we will do? So they were constructing the reservoir at the time. At the time they were thinking about it. So the Sultan Iltutmish, they have make many of the reservoirs in Delhi. Okay, like the Dilli Kohna and Hajj Sultani, and which was considered known as King's Reservoir. Now, some of the major reservoir you can also see, like the Amritsar Gurdwara, or you can say the Jama Masjid. There, along with the temple, there is also the reservoir is there, and in Amritsar, near the Golden Temple, the you can say the holy, the it's also considered as the holy सरोवर, और you can say the अमृत सरोवर, इसे हिंदी में जो है वो अमृत सरोवर कहा जाता है. लोग क्या करते हैं, यहाँ पे आते हैं, स्नान करते हैं, अपनी विशेष को पूरा करते हैं. सो एट द टाइम this type of thinking usually used to be happen, and these things was changes further. Okay dear students, read the paragraph and keep watching. Thank you.